Hey everyone, it's Book of Katherine and we're going to do a little bit of a different video today. I really think that it's important that everyone has a certain set of life skills that they have at their disposal. You're kind of not really an adult unless you know how to do certain things on your own. And every parent should be raising their child to be able to do these things. And most kids want to be able to actually do these things and they just don't know how to do them. They're actually very, very simple things. They don't take a lot of skill and know how to do. It's just no one ever shows them how to do it. So I'm going to show you today how to install a shelf. If I, who have all of my health injuries and all of my health issues, and able to do it after a few short months of intensive PT, granted, and just a very, very low ability to walk, I'm having a good day today. If I'm able to install a shelf, then anyone can install a shelf. If you can walk, you can install a shelf. So I'm going to do this series in two parts. It's going to be a two-part series because I just took down a shelf. This shelf was sitting right here from back in the day when I was able to install shelves. We finally accepted the reality that we are going to have to accept reality and actually build a closet downstairs for us. And so to just accept reality that walking upstairs is not always a reality for me. So we're building a closet downstairs to fit my home needs, and thank you guys for making that a reality. But we're going to have to build it ourselves. We can't hire anyone to do that for us. So slowly over time, I'm going to be slowly installing things when I'm healthy enough to do that. And today is the first day that I've been able to actually do that. And so I've gone to the thrift stores and bought what I've been able to buy, and you guys are seeing the very first time. It'll take about a year probably to get installed. That's about how long these things take, but it'll happen. It'll happen. So if you combine our good days, but maybe not. Maybe with all of these things, it'll happen. So, but I wanted to show you what it takes. So I really hope it'll go faster. We'll see. I'll keep you updated on my Twitter. So this is a shelf that I installed from IKEA earlier a couple of years ago. And so I took it down already. And so what I need to do is I need to patch this up. And so this is an important skill for anyone who is moving out of an apartment. So patching up your holes in a wall, it'll save you thousands of dollars on leaving when you move out of your apartment. Being able to just patch up your walls when you leave an apartment is a huge, huge deal. So this first video is going to be about cleaning up walls and patching and knowing how to patch your walls. If I remember a few years ago, one of my friends moved out and she was an older woman and she was charged like over $1,500, and it was just for patching the walls. And she's like, if I'd known that, I just would have patched the walls myself. I had no ideas that patching the walls would cost me $1,500, you know? And I was just like, well, we've always gotten our security deposits back, always, but we always patched our walls because it's so freaking easy to do. It's so easy. So I'm going to teach you how to clean up your walls and patch your walls so that you guys always save your security deposits when you move out. And then part 2 will be installing a shelf, and then hopefully this will provide you some great life skills to move on, and I really hope it helps. So, and then you get to see me in action. Now, for those of you guys who are in hardware, I really apologize because I was not, you know, trained. So this is going to be probably be like nails on a chalkboard for you guys who are in the hardware industry. But I will say there was a guy, when I built my own storefront, there was a guy who's there for signage, and he just was stunned because I built all my shelving in one afternoon. He's like, I've never seen a woman do that. And I was like, excuse me? And I didn't know that women didn't know how to do this stuff. And I just thought it was normal. But I guess I'm going to assume that was Girl Scouts that gave that to me. But I was really shocked that he'd never seen a woman build her own shelves. And I was like, that's part of the reason I decided to do this series. I was just like, you got to be joking because it's so freaking easy. So we're going to do this. All right, men and women need to be able to do this. So this is a trick that I've learned. So if you can see, I don't know if you can see in here, but there are two holes here where 2 screws were in here, like real screws, not just nails. They were holding this in where it slid down. If you can see, this is one of those, it actually needs a screw to go in. And a screw looks like this. There's a difference between a screw and a nail. A nail is something you just go into the wall, but a screw is going to be something that looks like this, right? So it has a screw, and then it has a head that looks like this, and you put a screwdriver into there. And so that it goes in to this, and then you slide it up, and that way it stays nice and secure on the wall, right? Well, what happens is when you pull that out of the wall, especially if you have what's called a bracket, which is one of these, and I'll be showing you how to do that in shelving. If you have a bracket around it, which I'll show you how to do that in the next in part 2, when you have a bracket, then it leaves kind of these gaping holes in the wall. And now I have a little trick that I do. You don't want to just put this pasting, this crack spot, the whatchamacallit, spackling paste into it. You can do a neat little trick that I've learned how to do that makes it even smoother, that I just invented myself. I don't know if anybody else does it, but you can add it if you want to. This is one of those things the hardware guys will probably freak out. Now, if you guys are disabled, I had to learn. These were the kind of tools I had. See, it's already hurting my back just to hold it. I used to be able to hold these nice, great hammers when I was healthy, and I have had to switch. I have had to switch all my tools to hammers like these. And in fact, to be honest, I've had to actually, my husband just switched down to this. So if you're disabled, like there is a whole range of hammers out there. No matter what you are, there's a hammer for you. You have a hammer for you. So actually today, this is the one that hurts my back the least. I've been doing hand exercises. So I'm going to be using this one and it'll work just fine. So there is a hammer for you no matter where you are at in life. And so what I do is I actually take one of these brackets, and you can buy one of these sets at Home Depot or wherever. Buy Made in America now if you can. You just type in Made in America and you can get a screw set. And it'll have screws and it'll have brackets with it. So they sell a ton of sets like that. And so you just take out one of these brackets, and I take the tip of one of these brackets here, like I just take the butt end of it. So this is where the screw usually goes in the bracket. And I'll show you how to do it. But I take the tip end of that bracket and I actually go into the hole. This is probably driving hardware guys nuts. But I actually go in because what happens is it rips out the wall. It has all these like bumps and stuff. It rips the wall apart, the drywall. And so I actually go in like this. Do you see how that dents into the wall? And so it actually, do you see how that flattens the wall? You probably can't see it, but it actually flattens the wall. Oh gosh, I wonder if I can bring you in here. So I wanted to see if you can actually see the difference. So if you can see that hole now, as compared to that hole, I don't know if you can see that. There's like this ripped up hole. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm not a fancy person, but there's like this ripped up hole, and now there's this nice, smooth, flat hole. And that's going to make a big, huge difference when it comes to spackling. When it comes to actually putting on the spackling paste, what happens is it puts in this white filler that looks exactly like drywall. This is what your wall is that it's drywall. If it's wood, that's a totally different thing. You need a different kind of paste. It looks completely different than this. There's a whole different, it's like a wax that you use for that. But what happens is it looks exactly like the drywall. Well, if you put it over this lumpy thing, you can actually, this gets clumped onto it and you can actually see it. Well, if you have a flat surface, so that if I look across here, I can actually see the wall ripped out on that. But if I look across, you can't see a hole. On the one that I actually use the bracket on, you can't see a hole at all. You would never know there's a hole there. And that's very important when it comes to spackling. It's so important. So when people walk through the homes that my husband and I worked on, that they come through, that's why our, security deposit was always returned, was because we did things like this, and it made such a difference. I'd go through and I do the tap, 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 and notice I used just a really small hammer, and it still did the work. You don't need to smash it in, you just tap it in a little bit. All right, now I'm going to do something else that's going to drive the hardware guys nuts. It's going to absolutely drive them crazy. I'm going to open up this spackling thing. I'm going to do this with this spackling paste, which every person needs a spackling paste in their house. You need something on hand. There are tubes that you can get. It's going to drive them nuts. I'm sorry, my hands are not good, so it's hard for me to get this off. So everyone needs these on hand. It's one of those things, if you have tape in the house, you need spackling paste in the house. Now, there are nice little flat tools that you can take and you scoop it out, but then you have to put in the washer and dryer and everything like that. I don't do that. I use my hands, kind of like when I do makeup. You can see I put like my fingers in there all the time. Why? Because I always have a paper towel next to me that's wet. And so this is going to drive the, professionals nuts. But I'm not professional. It's my own house. So what I do is I just go in there and I just dab it in. And you just fill up the hole. And it's literally like you just pack the hole in with the white paste. Obviously, wash your hands beforehand. And I missed a step, actually. I missed a step. I got so excited about showing you the brackets and all the tools that I missed a step. And I will show you what that step is. So I missed a big, big step. And I will show you what that is in a minute. So I am filling that in. Now, you're going to freak out because you're like, wait a minute, all this spackling paste is going around. It doesn't just fit inside the hole. Yeah, you're right. It's going to be around, and don't worry about that. You can even let it kind of glop outside, because after, if you get a big gloppy paste or whatever, that's just fine, because you can always go after it dries with a paper towel, and just go with the paper towel and smooth it over, and it dissolves it into a nice flat, you know, place that no one can see. You'd be amazed. And so I always just kind of like, and then you can barely see it. And it's kind of gone. So I'm kind of a perfectionist, so I always liked packing it in. And then you just get it into this nice place. And it's sometimes it's impossible, and sometimes it's impossible and sometimes it's not. It depends. If you have nail holes, my gosh, no one will ever know that it's there. Sometimes if you have big holes, like these nail holes were pretty freaking big, like I use big screws. It's almost impossible to make screws disappear, but you can. A lot of times it has to do with the finish of the wall. Like this wall is not a pure white finish. It doesn't exactly match the spackling paste. But as you can see, like you can't see it, like it's pretty much gone. And when it dries, it'll be gone. So the step that I forgot is to clean the wall first. I'm so sorry. That's step 1. And I'll list that down in this description box. Step 1 is clean the wall. Step 1, told you it's not professional. Step 1 is clean the wall. And what you use to do that is a wall eraser. So a wall eraser is like one of the creations, God's great creations. Thank you, thank you, thank you for wall erasers. They're the most amazing thing. And when I'm healthy enough, like that's the one thing I do like to do is go through the house and just take a wall eraser and just erase like all the cat things when they run over the wall, or like things, because I drag along the wall. I know that's kind of disturbing, but I drag along the wall, so you'll find jean things or something, or like things that you've seen for me next to the wall where I've just dragged. And so I love to clean those off the walls. It makes me feel better about the house, because if you don't have control over your life, sometimes you want things to be clean. It makes you feel like you have control over your own life. So anyway, so you take a wall eraser, and they have generic ones. I think Mr. Clean was the first one. There's a ton of different kinds of wall erasers. I can't wait to do Made in America. Made in America is so much cheaper. Why? Like I started doing Made in America detergent. This thing is $12. $12. And do you know how many loads of laundries, and all you do is like a tablespoon? Like a tablespoon. And I do a front loader, and so it's like a half a tablespoon every time I do front loader, and you don't need softener. So it's like a half a tablespoon, and I don't have to buy softener anymore. I'm like, everything, ever since I've done Made in America, our bills have like gone, it's so great. So, all right, I'm going to go wet this. That's what you do with one of these, wall erasers. So I'll be right back. All right, so I just put it underneath the sink, and then I squeezed it out a little bit, so you can see just it's a little bit wet in the corner. And so what you do is I have some lines here that I drew in order to hang this. And so it's just dark pencil, and now I know I can draw things like that because I know I have a wall eraser. I'm way more free with doing things like that. I know that it's going to be hidden, then I know it's going to come off. And boom, there it is. It's just coming off. It's gone. Oh, I love these wall erasers. And it's just gone. Totally gone. Oh, look, I can see some patchwork from our previous owner. Of some nail work that the previous owner did. See, every once in a while, you don't even notice them. You don't notice them, some spackling that the previous owner did. And see, now I'm running into the spackle job that I just did because I didn't clean the wall first. There it is. And so you clean the wall first. There's not really any wall cleaning I have to do around this guy. All right, so I'm going to patch up the next guy, and then we'll go on to part 2. But that's going to be really important. That's how you can clean up all of your holes, and it's way easier to clean the nail holes or whatever. So after this is completely dry, like this, you leave about 15 minutes for that to dry. I think there's a setting time. Maybe it's longer than that. It'll say on the package for how long it takes to dry. Let's see. Oh, 1 to 5 hours for it to be completely dry. And then you just go through with a wet towel if you want to, if you feel like there's too big of a lump, and then you just go over it. But you don't, I've never had to do that. You can pretty much smooth it out with your finger, and then it's done. It's so great. Spackling is just a miracle. It's so, so wonderful. And then you can paint over it, do whatever you want with it. And then this wall eraser is so great. And I swear to goodness gracious, it's going to save you thousands of dollars on your security deposit. And it's so easy to do. And look at me. I'm a disabled woman, and I did it which means you can do it too, a life skill that you guys need. So we'll go on to part 2, and we will learn how to hang a shelf, which if I can do it, you can do it too. So please donate down below to keep these videos possible. I don't have any sponsors. I am completely sponsor free. I rely on you. I rely on you to be my partners. So I would really appreciate any donations down below. And it's PayPal. You said it starts at 0. You totally said it, whatever you guys want to do. And then, yeah, watch these videos right here, and I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm so glad that you are willing to accept a disabled girl's random hardware video.